Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Toilets and Titles. My name is Justin Stevens, and I'm back with you again for another off-season breakdown episode. Kind of excited about today's episode because we're going a little bit different route than with all the other episodes so far. But before I get into that, I do want to remind you guys that our main show you can find on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Podbean, Spotify, and When a Family Breaks, which is our Facebook page where we buy and sell sports memorabilia. I also want to remind you can support us at patreon.com/Toilets and Titles. We appreciate your support. We've been getting a lot of love lately, and it's all needed and appreciated. Down at the bottom, you're going to see a scroll that reminds you to please hit that like and subscribe button. You hit that like and subscribe button. It helps our algorithms out. And again, we really appreciate that. You'll also see that it says something about a 5-star Apple review. You leave that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, screenshot it, send us a DM that you've done that, and you could qualify for a free entry into our Frankenstank Listeners League. We have about, I think, 10 spots left for a 3-copy league. So 36 total teams. We got 10 more to fill. So anybody can get in it if you're willing to pay the $25 fee. But you may as well give us that 5-star review and try to get in for free. All right. So I believe that's enough of that for now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our guest here. I'm going to introduce you guys. We've got Nick Faria. He's just a big Bucks fan, living out there. He told me he's living the dream out there in Massachusetts. But right now it's pretty easy for a Bucks fan to be living the dream because they are the reigning champions. So got to give you guys some props on that. But Nick, how you doing tonight, bud?
Feeling good. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. And actually, I said tonight. I'm just so used to recording at night. This is the afternoon. You guys helped me out. I can get done early and be done early. So I appreciate that. Josh, we got Josh at JRod 2_22. Notice they both have 2 underscores on their names there. So that's it's kind of a coincidence, but that must be a Bucks thing. I don't know. But Josh, how's it going today, bud?
Going good, man. Just on vacation.
Hey, perfect time to
catch
up with you. Yeah, perfect time to catch up with you and talk some Bucks football. All right, right on. All right, so we're gonna jump right in, and I'm just gonna ask you a simple question here. This one right here. Now, I just told you guys before the show that this isn't necessarily going to be fantasy football related, but this first question is on the minds of so many fantasy football players out there. If you wanted to go in that direction, you're welcome to. But I got to know what's going on with this Bucks backfield. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You've got all the guys back there in that backfield, and you even brought on another pass catcher for Tom Brady with Gio Bernard back there. So I need to know what that backfield is going to look like with the structure of that backfield, like who's playing what role, and that sort of thing. Is there, from what you guys have been able to process this offseason, what do you know about that backfield that we need to know about?
I think Ronald Jones will be the starter, but that's my opinion. I think he's going to be the guy that leads the pack. But Fournette's going to get some carries too. They're probably going to split the carries and then have Gio come in on third down a lot, and he'd be the third down guy. But I think Ronald Jones is going to be the guy that's going to have a big year if he stays healthy. Hopefully he'll stay healthy.
Are you excited at all about any of the 3 of those guys?
Yeah. Ronald Jones is if he's healthy, I think he's gonna have a big year. Like he like that Panthers game when he had that 98-yard run. He's gonna have he's gonna have some breakout games, I think. But Fournette's gonna be he might beat off what he did in the playoffs. You know, he might come back. And Gio Bernard, I think he's gonna do a lot on third down, but he'll probably get some other carries too, like second downs. He might get some carries too, though.
Yeah, I definitely remember that 98-yard carry because I was playing against Ronald Jones that week in fantasy football. So yeah, that's typically when it happens, you know. So, how about you, Nick? Anything to add to that backfield?
I kind of see it being used just the way Josh just described us. You know, they're going to run Ronald Jones as the cowbell until the wheels fall off. You know, save Lenny for times that needed for the goal line play or save him towards the playoffs because he is playoff Lenny. So, and then Giovanni Bernard. I mean, what can you say? The guy's averaged, like a 60%, catch rate, over the last 8 years. So he's he gets a lot of action. So they're going to be using him a lot on third downs and special plays and gadget plays and whatnot. Tom Brady runs the show, so he's going to be calling in different backs left and right.
Yeah, and Tom Brady, if like you have to have his trust in order to get a lot of time. So he seemed to really trust Leonard down the stretch there. He had no problem trusting Jones early on, and now he's got Gio Bernard that's kind of going to run that James White type of role that he was used to up in New England. So I was on pins and needles. Like, even though like it's very well known to my show, I'm a Colts fan. Even though I'm a Colts fan, and when James White was available, I was excited for fantasy purposes to see him go to Tampa Bay. I really was hoping that was going to happen, but honestly, Gio is every bit as good out of the backfield as James White if he has a better quarterback and a better opportunity. So there's definitely potential there. But what about our guy Keyshawn Vaughn? They drafted him last year. I kind of had high hopes, but we didn't really see much of him, and now he's kind of buried on that depth chart. Was I overzealous for being excited to see Keyshawn Vaughn?
I don't really know what they're gonna do with Keyshawn Vaughn, to be honest with you, man. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, he's got to earn his play on special teams now. I mean, they put a lot of draft stock into him. He just didn't pan out. Hopefully, he needs a couple of years under him to get going. But
maybe I've just underestimated Ronald Jones, and he's better than I thought he was. And then maybe Vaughn will be the next man up. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. If Ronald John goes down, it's going to be Leonard Fournette. I don't see Keyshawn Vaughn going in there at all. Giovanni Bernard, over the 8 years, he's had those 60 targets, 45 receptions, 80% catch rate. They signed him for a reason, so they're going to be using him. So Keyshawn Vaughn's going to have to earn his weight somewhere else this year, special teams, something like that.
Right on. So
yeah, I agree.
How about this defense? The defense last year was the best run defense in the league. There was no doubt about it. And I mean, again, I'm going to say this. I know that Tom Brady's a talented quarterback. I'm not going to take that away from him. But that defense and that running game really saved his bacon during the playoffs. So that's why you guys won the Super Bowl. There's no doubt about it. But that run defense was the best in the league last season. And their pass defense that wasn't too awful bad either. So is there anything that they've added in the offseason that we have to look forward to, or maybe somebody that was injured last year that's going to be exciting to watch? Where can they improve on that defense to make it even better?
I think Vita Vea, he missed what? How many games did he miss, Nick? I can't remember how many games he missed, but he missed a lot of games.
Bunch.
He's a big part of that defense up front. Big part. And he came back for the end of the playoffs, and you can tell when he's in there what the other guys do when he's in there, because he brings a lot of attention.
That stuffs up that middle of the field for sure.
Yeah, they used their number one draft pick on Joe Tryon. I mean, that guy averaged what last year? He had 27 solo tackles, 14 assists, like 12 and a half sacks last year for his sophomore season. I mean, he's all 6'5", 260. He's pretty much got the same size that JPP had out of college, and with more sacks. So I mean, you have a duplicate player such as that gives him more breathing time. They brought back everybody, Barrett, Sue. So it's going to be an impressive year on defense.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. You brought up Vita Vea. Like, as a Colts fan, I completely forgot that he got hurt early in the season. I knew he wasn't there at the end of the season, but I didn't realize it was that early. So I just looked it up. He got hurt in week 5, so he missed most of the season. They still finished number 1 against the run. So you got that big body coming back, stuffing up that middle is going to free up your linebackers. That's freeing up your linebackers can really help with that pass defense as well. So that's a great point. Yeah, that's awesome. See, this is why
I think he's a Pro Bowl type of player. That's how good I think he is. I think he is.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of Pro Bowl type of players, I think it might take a couple of years. But you guys drafted one offensive tackle from Notre Dame, the 3rd round pick, Robert Hainsey. That dude, I'm telling you, like, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I do pay attention to Notre Dame, and he was kind of underrated in my mind coming out of college. It might just be because I'm a fan and I'm talking him up, but I got to tell you, Notre Dame knows how to teach some offensive linemen. So congratulations on that one for sure. All right, wide receiving core. Obviously, we know about the big guys. We know about the Mike Evans and the Chris Godwins. We know about Antonio Brown. We know, and I know he's a tight end, but we know about Rob Gronkowski. Like, this is an unbelievable wide receiving core. And Tom Brady's not a stupid guy. When he was ready to leave New England, he knew he was going to set himself up in a perfect spot to help him win more Super Bowls. He found a very talented team to dip into. This is an amazing amount of weaponry for this guy. So we already know about all those guys. We already know what we're doing with those guys. We know what we're watching on Sundays. Is there anybody else, any of these younger guys, any of these behind-the-scenes guys, if there's an injury that you'd like to see pop up and fill a role, anybody that excites you?
I mean, I think Antonio Brown's going to have a huge year this year. I mean, Antonio Brown, for me, wide receiver in the slot, business is booming this year. He gets his first full season. He didn't have a full season last year. So this year, I think with Mike Evans taking the top off, Godwin's jarring that best corner on defense probably. I mean, you're looking at Antonio Brown open all day. And let's not forget, we have the tight end coming back, Howard. He has something to prove. It's kind of like a contract year for him. So I think, again, Gronk's going to take that Leonard Fournette, kind of save them for special moments, save them towards the end of the year, playoffs, and Howard's going to see all that play during the year. It's not going to be Gronk so much. I think it's going to be Howard for sure.
Interesting. I like it.
You want to dig deep into receivers. I think from top to bottom, it's a stack, but we drafted a kid from North Texas, Jalen Darden. I think he's going to be like a special teams player. I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah, so that's the second guy that we talked about on special teams, and neither one of them are currently slotted as the main kick and punt returner. Those are Scotty Miller and Tyler Johnson. So that's how deep that your skill positions really are. Like your number 4 running back and your number 8 wide receivers could really jump in and help out with special teams in a huge way. So it's just a deep roster. Like looking back on it now, it makes me wonder why I did not give them more credit going into the season last season, to be honest with you. I mean, Levante David is at right outside linebacker is amazing, and he's not even the best linebacker on the team. Like, it's absolutely insane. But let's see, what else do I got for you guys? I put down some notes here. So Tom Brady obviously isn't going to be around forever. I don't know if you guys have any guesses as to how long he's going to last. I mean, a lot of people have been saying for the last 5 years that he's done. I know last year was the first year that I said he was done, and I feel a little bit more confident because in that he might be done soon, because there were a lot of throws that he didn't quite connect or wouldn't attempt last season that he typically normally would have. So I think it's about that time. So the Buccaneers of the future, let's say it's another year, it's another 2 years. What are you looking at in quarterback? Do you think that Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask, that's already on your roster now, is going to be that next guy? Or do you think or are you not confident in those guys? Maybe you need to go out and draft another one this next season.
I think Kyle Trask will be the guy, but I think he's going to be the guy, but he's going to have to take it. I think Bray will play 2 more years, and then Kyle Trask will learn from him, and I think he'll take over.
2 more years? Do you have a guess, Nick?
Yeah, that's my.
Yeah, my guess would be just to ride the wheels until they fall off. I mean, why do we have to point to the second guy or the next coming guy. Like you got to relish in that moment. Something that the Patriots probably should have did, and invested in their quarterback the way he wanted to be invested in. It's in Brady we trust.
Fair enough.
So we'll deal with the quarterback position for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when we have to. Other than that,
he did have an MCL injury
we're gonna
too.
enjoy it.
He did have that MCL injury.
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean it's an
maybe
MCL.
he'll be better than he was last year.
Yeah, for sure. It's just an MCL. I mean, a lot of guys play with that injury, so it's not that big.
And they figured, getting that, not having an off season with the COVID, getting to learn a new system. I think Brady's gonna have a better year this year than he did last year for sure.
Oh yeah, he's got all his weapons back, full off season, no COVID, like you said. It's going to be a good Bucs year. We're hoping for that perfect season. I know that's not in their train of thought right now, but
as
a fan, for Brady, for him to be able to get that done too, there's nothing better than seeing Brady doing it without Belichick this past year than any other year. It was just as special as the first Super Bowl Brady. Seeing him do it. Everyone's saying he's a system quarterback. He's only there because of Belichick. He's only there because of the Patriots way. He's there because of Brady and what Brady puts into his players, into his game. So you got to appreciate that work, and you got to appreciate the Hall of Famer while we have him.
Right on. Now I will make a slight argument that I feel like it wasn't just like you said, that New England should have appreciated having that Hall of Famer and done what they could to keep him around, that sort of thing. I mean, on a personal standpoint, yeah, they should have done right by him. They should have done all it took to keep him on. But on a playing standpoint, I feel like it was almost as much Brady wanting to get out as it was them not wanting to hold on. So like I feel like he just felt like it was time. It was time for him to find a new environment and a new situation. And obviously, like, you never really saw Tom Brady play with a smile on his face like he had this past year in Tampa Bay. He was happy, like I don't think that anybody could be happy playing under Bill Belichick. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just feel like that's just kind of a counter argument I had to that whole, they should have kept him happy and kept him on and that sort of thing. I don't think, I mean, they could have backed up the Brinks truck and I think he'd have been ready to get out. So,
I mean, like you said, you got to keep him happy. So,
yeah.
Like, was it getting rid of Belichick or was it getting rid of Brady? Like you answered your question by talking it out loud. Like Brady was ready to go, and it didn't matter what you brought to the table because he was tired of that drinking that Belichick drink. So eventually he's just like, okay, I can't do this for this anymore. Gronk couldn't do it. He ended it, and then he came back because he knew that he didn't have to, play under Belichick's roof. So.
Right. And as much as we can disagree on about Tom Brady, there is one thing that we can agree on is that I hate Belichick even more.
Nice.
Right on. All right. So I got one final question for you guys. All right. One final question. And it's an easy one. This one is all about your expectations as a fan. Okay. So first I want to know what your expectation is. Then I need to know what you think it's going to take for them to achieve that. And then what's going to keep them from achieving that. Now, it can be a win-loss record. It can be a certain level in the playoffs. It can be a certain level of improvement, something with the coaching staff. I don't really care. But I just need to know what your expectations are and what it's going to take to get to that expectation. And it's kind of hard.
I think we might lose 2 games.
You might lose 2 games.
I think we might lose 2 games, but we might lose 2 games.
I like that confidence.
I'm not going to say undefeated because that's how good I think this team's going to be. If everybody stays healthy, I think our team's that good.
Wow. All right. And honestly,
remember we haven't lost a game since what, week 12?
Yeah, Saints.
Last year? Is that when we lost?
Yep.
Against the Chiefs, right? Chiefs, last time we lost to.
And if you really stop and think about it,
week 11 or 12.
The Saints in your division are without Breeze and slowly falling. The Panthers in your division have a pretty solid team for the most part, but that quarterback position is still up in the air. It's not a great defense. They're getting better. But and then you got the Falcons that have without Julio and an aging Ryan. I mean, this division is pretty wide open for the Bucs to take this year, in my opinion. So, I mean, sure, I could take 2 losses. That's a definite fan answer, but not completely out of the realm of possibilities. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I like it. I like 2. I don't mind 2 losses. I'm rooting for that undefeated season. I'm winning every single week. Looking at it game by game, but we're just winning that game. We're winning this week. So that's the goal, is to win every single week. Whether it be week 14 or week 2 or Super Bowl week. We're having that mindset of winning that game that week. So we're not going to worry about the outcome. We're just going to worry about the play. And if we catch an L, we learn from our mistakes and we move on. I think the Tampa Bay showed that last year, and they hit that wall at the end of the season where, that enough was enough with that losing, and they had to get right, and they blew the doors off in the playoffs. Went the hard way throughout the playoffs through the wild card and played all the top tier quarterbacks, as Rodgers and Breeze and Patty Mahomes, and took it home. So I'm expecting to do it again.
So, so when you are the returning champions, obviously this is just proof that the expectation level is just raised even higher. When you come back from championship, that's completely get that. I totally understand that. But again, so I guess in your mind, they're already set and ready for that successful of a season for both of you guys. It's really just going to be injuries that might hold them back then. Really, if there's going to be anything, you think it's just injuries. There's nothing they can do to trip over their own feet.
Exactly. Brady's got to break a leg.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not a big fan of rooting for that sort of thing, but
right. But that's the only way I see the Buccaneers going down. I mean, I think we have enough guys on the roster where the next man up mentality works. So a lot of depth there.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're ready.
Blaine Gabbert got a raw deal, but if Brady breaks a leg, I don't think that Gabbert is still quite good enough for for that kind of a run. He's no Nick Foles. Right on. Well, hey guys, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your flexibility with this scheduling and coming together for this episode like this. If there's ever anything Toilets Titles can do for you guys, just let us know. We're going to be there for you. We love fan interaction. We love to answer questions. You guys are also welcome into our Frankenstein 3-copy league if you like. Just DM us and stay in touch. And like I said, I appreciate your time. Real quick, I'm going to throw it down there at the bottom again. Everybody's information there. There's the Twitter handles for you guys to follow, especially if you want some of this Buccaneers inside information. Like I said, they were bringing up stuff that, as a non-Bucs fan, I never really would have considered when I'm trying to form my fantasy football team together. So they weren't even talking fantasy stuff, and they've already got me thinking, maybe I do need to bump up that team defense a little bit. Maybe I do need to look out for O.J. Howard whenever everybody else is going after Gronk. So just some things to think about. So appreciate your time, fellas. You guys have an awesome day. And
thanks for having me on.